The legend of the broadcast news business, Morley Safer, has died. Safer retired just last week and spent much of his time here in Connecticut. News 8's Josh Scheinblum spent some time in Chester tonight, where Safer had a home. He talked to some of his friends about that loss. Josh.
Darren, and Morley Safer joined 60 Minutes in 1970, contributing some 919 reports to that program. But here in Connecticut, he's being remembered by those who knew him as a man who enjoyed the company of friends.
I'm gonna suggest to Jane that you donate this to Smithsonian.
Inside the office, Peter Good shares with his wife Jan Cummings at their art gallery in Chester. They're remembering an artist they were close with since the 1980s who recently passed on.
How different today, thinking of him taking this wherever he went.
An artist whose work can be found everywhere, it seems, in this space reserved for the visually creative.
He would share a lot of this stuff with me. It's about art.
The man they're talking about, however, is probably best remembered not for the color he put on canvas, but for the ink he typed out onto paper. Their friend was none other than 60 Minutes veteran correspondent Morley Safer.
I used to think of him as a homebody when he was here, away from all the hubbub of the city and the world travels that he had.
Safer lived in New York while he worked for CBS during the week. He had a home in Chester that he'd visit on the weekends.
I don't mean to be cliche, but I'm listening to what you and your wife are saying. He was a New Yorker, but is it safe to say that in his heart he was a New Englander?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Or I should say a Chesterite, you know.
Much of his time in Connecticut was spent with Peter and Jan.
We had so many dinners right at that table over there.
When he wasn't eating out, among Safer's passions were cooking and his pooch.
Loved his dog. When we first met him, he had a pickup truck, and Dora, his dog, would sit in the front of the truck, and he'd go to the dump.
Peter and Jan say they always knew Safer was among the most respected journalists in the world, but they think what they'll remember most about him was the friendship they shared.
He had a great wit, great sense of humor, and he was a mensch.
Peter and Jan tell me that typewriter you saw there was used by Safer to file reports when he was covering the Vietnam War. Safer was 84. For now, we're live in studio, Josh Scheinblum, News 8.